Hey, Kathy, how are you?
I'm good, Joanna. How are you doing?
Good. I was thinking today, I wonder how Kathy's new journey on being a new upline is going. So I wanted to check in with you and talk about how your training with Miss Catherine is going.
Okay, so she's been to my house twice and just
Mm-hmm.
kind of shadowed me. And uh, before she would come over, my assistant would call the clients that were going to be there at that time and get their permission to
Mm-hmm.
have her sit in on the conversations. And then instead of being on my headset, I would be I would use my microphone, the
Mm-hmm.
one I used to use for podcasting,
Mm-hmm.
and I would put the conversation on speaker.
Mm-hmm.
So, so she's gotten a lot of questions answered just sitting in on those
Mm-hmm.
and so that's been interesting. But there's been other things I've done too. But those were the two times when she actually came and sat in and shadowed me. So, have you
I
ever
just came up with an idea.
tell me?
All right, so you are 100% virtual and you record all of your phone conversations because you've been trained by the best.
That's absolutely, absolutely.
So Kathy is the queen of compliance too. Like you just heard her say that she asked for permission from the consumer because they're going to give private information like prescriptions and doctors and stuff. And that is really first very ethical and compliant, and I appreciate that. Because it's hard to have her come over to the house all the time to listen. How about you have her listen to your prior recordings while she's at work or driving or washing the dishes? Because I think, and this is what I wish somebody did for me, it's like a virtual ride along, but it doesn't have to happen in real time, right?
Yeah, I thought of that. I've actually thought, and I've written it so the listener can't see this. If
Hmm.
we ever release the videos, then so this is my disclosure. This
Yes,
is my
it's a written
disclosure.
disclosure. Hmm.
So and if somebody walks away during the recording of it, I say now I have to say it. And so I read it. But
Hmm.
if you notice, I have written, I haven't changed it yet, but I'm going to change it after AEP is over.
Hmm.
Um, at the bottom, there's a written part that I'm going to
Hmm.
update my disclosure, and it says at the end of my disclosure and before the thank you, now we can talk,
Hmm.
it'll say also calls may be used for training purposes.
Yes,
So
and
I'm going to
just
change it
like
in
Bank of
RingCentral.
America and AT&T and everybody else, right? I love that concept because you actually are the only one I know who records your screen and screen shares too, and I think that is like pretty damn cool because me, I don't screen share with my consumers. I just do everything by phone, and I tell them to grab a pen and paper because I think when they write stuff down, they're more engaged. That's just my way of thinking.
So I don't
Uh,
actually record the screen shares.
okay.
So the screen part I can.
Record your next couple screen shares for training purposes. I
Yeah,
think that's how she's going to catch on faster.
I
Because had
I can.
somebody taken me on a ride along, I my anxiety would have been less. I would have known what to do, where to go. And most of what we do is caught, not taught, by the way. It's by watching someone else do it and saying, oh, I've seen Kathy say that levothyroxine, you have to watch if you put capsules or tablets. I've seen where people say that they take the brand name, but they really take the generic, right? I've seen
Exactly.
I've seen where, so let her watch your interviews while she's just doing the dishes, like I said, and because she has a full time job,
She has
that's
more than one full-time job, by the way.
I appreciate a
So
hustler, you know.
but she's backing off. So she's trying to, she's also a teacher. So she's
Mm,
backing off on some of these teaching gigs, but she's got to finish up the semester.
mm-hmm.
So so yeah, I've thought about that. And I'm going to change the the disclosure. It's just changing my disclosure takes a bit of a thing because
Sure,
I've got to record it and
it's
then I've got to
recorded. Yeah. What are you training her to do as far as prospecting?
So as far as prospecting goes, right now she doesn't have to because I've been scheduling my office has been scheduling her appointments and we've
Mm-hmm.
got her pre-booked.
Nice. I wish you had used the upline. Don't tell my other downlines that you do
Well, remember,
that.
she only has a couple of appointments a day because she works so much, and so
Yes.
it's not that hard to book her up, but right? But she's almost as booked up as I am right
That
now.
now that is a dream. That is a dream scenario for someone to walk into.
Oh, what now? Why do they have to live in Harrisburg, Texas for you to have an LOA to book them up?
Training purposes. Like it's hard to train virtually. Yeah.
Yeah, she's the one that wanted to come to my house. I'm like, okay, well, if you want to. So I had to
Yeah.
clean my office up a little, pull in a chair for her to sit there.
Yeah. I
But
just for me, I need them to be able to do what you're doing, because I'm so busy. I can't just hop on a Zoom
that
and
makes
then
sense.
trust that you can go do it yourself. Yeah. But so if you're in Houston, Texas, holla.
Yeah, yeah,
But all right, so you're filling
yeah.
her calendar. So is she closing?
Not yet. So right now we're giving her things that she said she'd take them, but
Okay.
but we're giving her like the people that have guaranteed issue
Mm-hmm.
for supplement plans.
Mm-hmm.
Normally I would just have them call the carrier, but she
Yeah.
said she talked to them. She said she wants to
It's
have
good.
the
I think
experience.
it's good practice because when I was a brand new agent, I was willing to do anything, even PDP reviews.
I
First,
would.
I need to do the practice. Second, if I can make $100, $42 or whatever it is now on some of the ones that are still commissionable, it's still money in my bank account that I didn't have when I was only making salary.
Yep. So she hasn't written yet, but she has been having activity. She has
Okay.
been doing appointments. And
Okay.
then we've talked about what she's going to do after
Is
she's
she
done the current
recording her
class.
appointments?
Yeah, on Ring Central. She actually bought her own version of
I
Ring
love it.
Central.
Are you listening to her appointments?
I haven't yet. That's a good
Okay.
idea. I'm going to write that down.
You
I need to
This
listen
is
in.
we're doing train the trainer today, by the way, guys. Kathy, you have to listen to her appointments to correct her.
Okay,
You
that
you you
thank you.
don't you don't know why she's not closing, and you don't know if she's saying stuff correctly. And this is why you have to watch or listen and observe. And I've flown across the country and watched and listened and observed and done corrections. I was with a top producer this summer in Phoenix, Arizona, actually top flight's top producer right now. And I
Okay.
was watching him do seminars and I said, Steve, and he doesn't mind me saying his name. Steve, I said, I think you should tweak this. And he tweaked it. And the man has closed 75 MAPDs in 15 days plus over 20 med subs because he made some tweaks. So
Amazing.
here's the thing, as an agent, we don't really know if we're doing something wrong until someone else says, "Oh, by the way, Joanna, you said that wrong," or "You're that changed 2 years ago, Joanna." You know what I'm saying? Like it's hard to keep up with all the nuances of this business, and then she's new. She doesn't really know why they didn't buy from her or if she could have done something different, and that's why she's recording it while you're washing your dishes. You can listen to her recording.
Well, I made a rookie mistake when I first started working with her. I told her only to get contracted with three carriers. I said,
Mm-hmm.
just get contracted with the three big ones here
Mm-hmm.
where we live.
Mm-hmm.
And it turns out that there's some carriers she needed to get contracted with. And I think that so where I live last year, the year before, all the previous years, it's been Aetna, United Healthcare, and Humana. Those are the
Mm-hmm.
ones that I sold.
Mm-hmm.
Hardly ever sold anything else. Did a Clover
Sure.
every now and then.
Sure.
In California, I write good amount of scan,
Mm-hmm.
but I said just work on these three because I didn't want to overcomplicate things. Well, this year we've got a Clover plan that has a $105 give back, and we've got a devoted plan that has 184.50 give back. And I said, I think you need to get contracted with these two carriers.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's not just the fact that she's not closing. Some of this she's got to get contracted with
Mm-hmm.
different with different firms before she can write the sale. But But yeah, I think, you're right. I need to listen to some of her appointments. So I'm going
Mm-hmm.
to reach out to her today and
Mm-hmm.
ask her to get me some of those recordings so that I can listen in because she's supposed to be recording. She knows that her calls are supposed to be recorded.
That's good. So you have to, in order to truly mentor someone, you have to observe their their um their process. So, in the Air Force, I called it monkey see, monkey do. So the Air Force didn't train me by YouTube. My trainer would show me how to change the throttle grip. And then he would say, okay, now you're going to change the throttle grip and I'm going to watch you change this throttle grip. Right.
That's very good
And
advice.
So I think that's the best advice I can give someone who's training other people is you have to show them how to do it, and then you have to watch them do it and make corrective actions politely along the way. You don't want to say, "No, Kathy, you're doing it wrong. You're so silly." You know what I'm saying? You don't want to blow up on them. You have to have a demeanor where you're corrective, like a mentor, a teacher, right? How you would want someone to correct your third grader, right?
Right.
Um, but that's the only way that she's gonna know if her, I call mirror me, is actually mirroring you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. That makes total sense. I'm that's going to be on my to-do list for after this recording. I'm going to
Yep.
reach out to her and ask her to give me her recordings so that I can listen to them.
You can listen to it while you're doing your exercise bands or walking around the block or whatever. Like it's easy to listen to recordings if you just listen to them on your headset while you're doing life, while you're, just doing
Well,
daily chores, whatever.
that's why I like actual podcasts because that's
Yes.
how I do things. I'm going to listen
We
to
have to
her
understand why
recording.
she has appointments but she's not closing, and it could be a myriad of things. It could be that it wasn't suitable, or they decided not to make a change, but you don't know until you get the full story, and you're not going to get the full story from her without listening to
Well,
the tone of the other consumer's voice.
well, she's not going to know anyway.
She's not, yeah,
Okay,
she's not gonna.
she's not going to know, and maybe she's not asking. you know, like I
And she
just
could just
assume.
not be asking for the
I,
sale.
I just assume. I'm just like, okay, you ready to sign up? Let's click the button. I mean, I don't
Yeah.
like. I'm like, okay, do you
You
want to do this
you
one?
assume the sale.
I
So I
do. I just
I,
assume.
I do too now. I used to not, because nobody taught me sales before. I remember I came from the military and government. I had to learn sales from watching other agents on Facebook. you know,
Okay,
like
that's good. And I won't know that unless I listen.
that's right.
So I'm going to do that. So there's some other things though that I've been using to teach her,
Mm-hmm.
and that is, I have everything kind of automated, and
Yes.
everything is kind of so she's not ready to pay for things yet.
Good. She shouldn't.
So yeah, she shouldn't. So one of the things that I have an unlimited I'm gonna the reason why I got this unlimited was so that I could offer it to gold members, or
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking about offering a platinum status of
Mm-hmm.
certified Medicare agents.
Mm-hmm.
But I have this program called Type Desk, and I have
Mm-hmm.
the ability to share it with an unlimited number of people.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I shared it with you, and you haven't done anything with it.
I'm
Let's
the
see
worst
here.
person.
No, you never did anything, so I took you off my shared list.
Okay.
So basically what it does is if you find yourself typing the same thing over and over again,
Mm-hmm.
you put it into Type Desk and you name it. So
Mm-hmm.
let me open it up and I'll tell you some things. I have this folder in Type Desk called Medicare Answers, and right now there's 52 of them.
Wait, if I
And
used it, could I see your 52 answers?
if I give you access to that folder,
Hmm.
yes. So I'll send you another one. You need to pretty much accept it right away so that I
I
don't.
will.
Actually, I have a thing called Joanna. This was yours, I think. Or
I
maybe it
love it.
was things
I love it when
I
people have stuff named as me on their computers. It's my
I
favorite
don't
thing.
I don't know if you. Okay, so I have your email in there so that if I don't have to type in Joanna at Top Flight,
Mm-hmm.
blah blah blah. I have Christian Brindle's email in there. I've got Needy
Mm-hmm.
Meds in there. I've got a lot of things. But in my Medicare answers, I have how to find and open your drug plan or MAPD quote. PDP drug plan request is a non-client. I'm going to read this to
Mm-hmm.
you. This we send out a lot. And I kind of perfect. I did not use Chat GPT to create this because I created it a couple years ago, but here's what it says. Thanks so much for reaching out. I'm honored that you're considering using my services. I have good news and bad news for you. I'll start with the bad news, and that's in bold. My team and I no longer have the bandwidth to do a drug plan analysis for people who do not have their Medigap plans with us. Because of the amount of time involved, along with low or no compensation from the drug plan, this is a service I can only provide to existing Medicare supplement clients. Insurance brokers such as myself are also prohibited from charging fees for this service. Now, the good news, also highlighted. I provide a website where you can easily research plans and even enroll if you'd like. The site is, and it gives my pearl. You can also use the site to research and then call the recommended drug plan if you do not feel comfortable enrolling via the site. If this site doesn't work for you and you're not an existing Medigap client and you still need one on one assistance, you can call your local SHIP office and speak with a bolded, unlicensed volunteer, unbolded, and then I give shiphelp.org. You can also contact 1 800 Medicare. They're open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. And then in bold and underlined, be careful that they do not enroll you in a Medicare Advantage plan if that is not your intent. And then if it is your intent to enroll in a new Medicare Advantage or Medigap plan, I'll be glad to assist you. Medigap plans need to be enrolled in prior to 10/1 for us to assist you with a drug plan. And of course, the drug plan analysis is included for our clients in those plan types. Thank you for your understanding. So every time a non-client asks for a drug plan review, we click Control C, type in the word drug. This will pop up along with some other things about drug, some others. And then we click Enter and Send.
I
So
love it.
that big long thing that just took me 5 minutes to read, that
Mm-hmm.
would take me 15 minutes to type out each time, literally takes less than 5 seconds to get to find and send. So anything, and now my downline now has access to all of these emails and all of these responses. And so Joanna, what that means is not only can she use them, but she can also learn from them.
Mm-hmm.
So she can say, oh, this is what Kathy says. She doesn't have to say exactly what I say,
I
but
think that it's phenomenal that you have that resource set up. And this is the whole point of having an upline, by the way, guys. A good upline will share their resources and cut your learning curve. And Kathy is cutting her new agent's learning curve because guess what? Nobody gave me those resources in 2016. Like I had to Google how to look up a DSNP back then when there was way before Sunfire and everything, and we had to use everything on Medicare Gov. But there was no universities like Top Flight University and Medicare Mentors University. There was no carrier training back then that was recorded or on webinar. And it's hard to figure out what to do because the carriers don't show you an appointment and how to compare plans with their competitors and stuff. Nobody, they don't show that. So a good upline like Kathy can show that. And you, Shay, I already have these resources, use them, right? Kathy's making sure that her downline doesn't have to pay for a lot of stuff are open in the back because I tell people, I was like, listen, you don't need to pay for that until you have a couple sales, you know? Like, should everybody have their own VoIP? Yes. A $20 a month dial pad is what I think everybody should have, or something similar if your upline offers a recording service, and we do. But I think so everybody should have their own like Ring Central or whatever because it's your phone line too, right? I think not just a recording thing. I think you need your own phone line to open up a business, right?
I agree.
Like all of
And
my
you need your own phone number.
Oh, Kathy, the biggest problem I have now is senior agents saying, Joanna, I'm tired of my cell phone ringing. I said, one of the problems is
It wasn't, now I always had an 800 number because I was a
okay.
financial advisor before.
Yes.
And when I started my Medicare business, I had a separate phone number for that, but people still had my cell phone number. And I used it to my advantage when the rule came out that you had to record your calls. And I
Mm-hmm.
still get phone calls and texts on my cell phone now from people who had it before or people who look me up in
Mhm.
the directory where I live.
Mhm.
And in that directory is my cell phone, and they'll ask me, they'll say, they'll ask me Medicare things, or they'll talk to me, and I always say, it's not legal for me to conduct business on this phone line. Please
Mhm.
use my 866 phone number.
Mhm.
And I try to funnel everything.
I learned this, especially when I got an assistant. I started Medicare at Walmart, and it's hard
Break the
to,
habit.
yeah, it's hard to break the habit. But even when I call people back, I have to log into my dial pad because I was calling people back from my new cell phone number, and then they started blowing me up on
No.
my new cell phone. I was like, "No, Joanna, you
Joanna,
have."
you knew better than
I
that.
knew better.
You knew better.
I knew
I'm like,
better.
what the heck? Why did you do that? You
Well,
knew
some
better because we
it,
talked about it before you got the new phone
A
number.
hundred, 100%. You cannot scale a business from your personal cell phone because eventually you will have somebody else answering the text messages and answering the emails. Eventually, you have to treat yourself from a doctor's office. Catherine needs to treat herself like a doctor's office from her very first application.
Well, here's how smart she is.
She's a smart cookie.
She got an email address
Hmm.
right away.
I like that.
So
That's actually one of my very
without me
first
tell
things.
I never even told her to do it. I hadn't gotten to my first meeting with her yet, and
Hmm.
she did it on her own. So
That's
I'm
my
like,
very first
okay,
requirement is you are not allowed to conduct business with Joanna by using your old Gmail that still has Bath and Body Works and Home Depot in it because you're never going to find my emails.
now one thing I did tell her, I said, now you need to open up a new one just for the vendors. And she says, Kathy, I already see they're blowing up my email.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
she had to start a new one
Yeah.
so that she wasn't going to get
I
all
think
these
everybody needs a
1,000
couple
emails.
emails. One
Yeah.
and one for carriers, one for consumers, one for your vendors like Delta, like I fly a lot, my Airbnbs and stuff, all my business related expenses because I wake up and
Well,
so
one thing that I do, and we've talked about this before, is I have a help desk.
mhm.
And that help desk is called, I call it, it's LA, hold on, LA. It's listed under LA desk, but it is called, it starts with my business, it's ladesk.com, I think.
Mhm.
Um, And all of this is why I said to you when we first met that you really shouldn't be doing Facebook as your profile on Facebook. You should do it as a Facebook page, like
Yeah.
a fan page,
Mhm.
because all of those emails that people or DMs that people send me through Facebook, and I do get a lot of them, they go to this help desk.
Mhm.
And all of the emails that I get from my 5 different email addresses, they go to this help desk. And then my assistant can look at them. And if she can take care of it, she does. And
Mhm.
even the Facebook, she can respond to a Facebook DM as me, as my KATHE page. And
Mhm.
she can, people say, well, I need an appointment. She can just respond to it with my calendar link, or she can say, what are you looking for? Because I don't want to just take appointments from everybody right now. This is why I
Right.
have my downline now because
Mhm.
I don't want to work 5 days a week anymore.
Mhm.
Even during AEP, I've got, I think we mentioned this in another podcast. I've got Mondays and Fridays blocked off.
Mhm.
Mondays are for my husband's doctor's appointment, and
Mhm.
Fridays are my sneaky secret appointments for clients,
Mhm.
just in case I get booked. Because I don't want to have so many clients that I can't talk to a client that needs to talk to
Right.
me. And this is why I'm taking less prospect appointments this year and I'm funneling them over to
I
my
think it's
downline,
genius, and
Catherine.
I think for anybody who's
So, but I think
listening,
it's going pretty
the
well.
f- I think the I think the best way to train a downline and to get them excited about the sales is to help them get their first sale. You should help
Okay.
your client. You should help your downline get their first sale within 2 weeks of finishing their certification. That's the fastest way to help an agent move because we're financially incentivized by overrides, right?
Right.
Now, but she helped me close them and look up their doctors and drugs And back then we didn't have any fancy technology, but she mentored me through the sale, and I had my very first MAPD sale.
Okay, I need to do that with Catherine, and I've been lax in that. But I
Mm-hmm.
can tell you that the second time she was visiting with me, we were talking about Sunfire and how it was really hard because we couldn't get the existing Medicare Advantage plans, especially the ones that were terminating
Mm-hmm.
on, so I couldn't do a
But
side-by-side
I fixed that for you.
comparison. And listener, while Catherine was sitting there with me, she got them to fix it. And now the biggest thing that I was struggling with for the first 2 weeks of it was all of pre-AEP, and it was like
Mm-hmm.
the first, well, when was it? Like
It was the
last
first couple
week?
of days of actual open enrollment. Yeah.
I was struggling so hard. It was so
Mm-hmm.
stressful for me
Mm-hmm.
not to be able to show the side-by-side comparison. And that's
Mm-hmm.
why I haven't done a lot of sales so far, honestly, because I was putting people off. I was saying I can't make a good
And that's
recommendation.
normal in the first couple weeks of annual enrollment is when technology is still wonky, when formularies and directories are still wonky. It's normal to be like, I can't do a fair assessment. So let's let the carriers and Medicare reconvene, and I'll talk to you October 30th.
Right.
I do that
Yeah.
myself all the time. I don't typically take a whole lot of appointments in the first 2 weeks because I'm usually being tech support and misfix it for my downline, because that's my main role as a FMO at this point, is to be the person behind the scenes fixing all the problems so the agents can sell. That was actually one of my biggest wins last week, is helping you fix that.
Oh, I'm sure I wasn't the only one. I'm sure I
No,
was not the only one. So that was amazing. It was really nice that she was sitting right there because that was her question.
yeah,
How do I deal with this? And so I was showing her. I also have a program, Connecture, that I pay for. I pay for the
yeah.
agent version, and I was even going to give her access to it so that she could
Hmm.
see those plans. But I'm so glad I didn't have to do that. And I told her, I said, don't try to enroll anybody on this because you won't get credit for it and we'll both get in trouble.
Hmm.
This is just for research
Hmm.
only.
Hmm. Hmm.
But we didn't have to do that, and I didn't have to give her access. And Medicare.gov isn't. I still don't think it's the best place to go to for research. But um,
But
but yeah, so we're coming along.
my best advice is to just a client that would be okay, even a current client that you would know would be okay with a newer agent. And I have a couple. I say, listen, I have a new agent I'm training. Would you mind me giving your file to them? And they'll be your official agent of record, but I'm still going to oversee everything. And some of them are okay with it.
Okay, well, we'll see. I don't know that I have to go down that road yet, but I think she's pretty close. But I'm gonna
Hmm.
take your advice. I'm gonna listen to some
Hmm.
of her phone
Listen to
calls and
her
see if
calls and stuff.
see if
But
I
I
can
think,
provide any guidance to her
and
based on
then
what I'm guessing she's not I'm guessing she's not clicking the button and saying let's
she's not asking
do it.
something. And then you have to teach them how to fish. I One of my very favorite things in this world as an upline is to help newer agents and even seasoned agents, because I've flown to all my top producers this year, and to help them reimagine prospecting. Prospecting, a lot of people don't know how to prospect, or they don't know how to do a certain skill. Like, I taught seminars to agents who were just, you know, people who did bingo and stuff before. I've taught telephone sales to people who've only done face to face. I like to reteach skills and expand their horizons. And so take her with you and teach her how to prospect. I think new agents should learn how to prospect face to face versus trying to find clients on the internet. I think it's easier because people are more forgiving. Meeting someone at the Halloween parties and the Thanksgiving festivals, and like, there's a lot of festivals coming up. So if she has a Saturday off, book a fair in your community where you have a tabletop, and let her learn. Teach her how to prospect and fish.
Yeah, she's gonna start doing Turning 65 workshops
Perfect.
in January, and I've got the signs that I can
Hmm.
let her use, so she doesn't
Yep.
have to buy those things. I told her I would attend with her a couple
Hmm.
times, and
Yeah.
and help her with that. And I've got the Making Medicare Decisions video,
Mm-hmm.
which she's watched. She says that was really helpful to kind of help solidify what people really need to know.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, well, turn it into a workshop. She said she's going to. So we're going to start doing Turning 65 workshops together after
Mm-hmm.
AEP is over,
Love it.
and might be coming to you for some marketing money for that. Who knows?
Yeah, I got lots of money sitting over here. But I did that last Friday. I did a registered sales event with a GA and his brand new agent. And the reason I did with a GA is because he's a telesales GA.
Okay,
He's been 10 years for a carrier and just went independent this year, but he closes 40 apps a month, you know?
nice.
And so he's strong on the phones, but he's like, Joanna, I've never,
Done it in person.
especially with a group, you know? And so
Right.
I was like, all right, monkey see, monkey do. I will show you how to do it. Bring your new agent, right? And we did it. It was three of us in a room, and it was great because he was like, I see why you always bring an agent because it's hard for one person to control a whole group of people and have someone catch the people walking out the door and stuff, right? And
Yep.
I was like, you always bring one of your downlines to your seminar. That's one of the things I always teach here. If hire a downline, bring a friend, or bring your wife or husband or an assistant if you don't have an LOA, and have somebody. And actually, Kathy, this is what I decided there: bring a plant.
Oh, someone to ask questions, and oh, that's a good idea. I never thought of that.
I told Steve to start doing this. So Steve has an assistant, Paula. Paula is 65 plus. She is phenomenal. I said, Paula needs to start going to your seminars as an attendee first to help you set up and everything, but second to observe the things that the people are saying because she can sit there and listen to feedback that you're not paying attention to, right?
Right.
But she can say, oh, Steve, what about this big hospital thing? How do I fix this $1,500 hospital bill, you
She can
know?
ask the questions that they're not asking,
Yeah,
that they're
and it does.
talking to themselves about.
Exactly. And
Okay.
if you have current clients who are your champions, a lot of us have current clients who just love the ground we walk on, right? If
Invite
I
them to the free dinner or whatever it is.
give them of the free coffee and cake,
Yeah,
whatever, they
whatever it
would
is.
be happy to come and they get a refresher but they'll talk you up amongst the audience. They'll be like, oh, Joanna. So if I was to do this back in Georgia where I have most of my audience, I have a couple people that I fixed their lives. I used my social security contacts and I got one of my technical experts to fix it, and
Good
she
job.
texted me yesterday, said, I just got the check in the mail, thank you. But
Now she would come and talk you up and say,
well, I've also got her widow's benefits 6 years ago, where she was disqualified before because she forgot. Well, she didn't know this, but there was a policy that was going to help her get widow's benefits. But she thinks I walk on water. And I already got a gift from her
hmm
from Harmony and stuff. But if I was to have a local seminar, I would invite her because she could say those testimonies about how Joanna not only helped them with their Medicare, but all of their social security problems too. And I'm
exactly.
sure some of you
Yep.
guys have people like this who are pleasant, who think that you walk on water. Invite them to your bingos and stuff. They don't have to live in that community. They can just be there just to be a part of your thing. I
That is
mean,
an excellent idea. That really is an excellent idea. And Catherine has in-laws that live here, and her mom lives here
perfect.
too.
They
And
need to.
so they can
Ooh,
come. And
you
no,
know what I used.
she's already writing their policies, but
Good, but you know what I used to do at Walmart
what?
when it was dead. The easiest way to get people to come over is if somebody's already over there because
I
people
know.
are attracted to nobody really wants to be the first one, right? But
Right.
if they see a line of people, just like a restaurant, if you see a line of people around a donut shop, you think they have the best donuts in the freaking world because there's a line of people waiting, right? I would
Yep.
have the
I used to do
cashier.
that. I used to do that at CVS.
Yeah.
I would actually schedule appointments
Yep.
for my prospects and clients to meet me at the CVS because I didn't want to sit there with nothing to do all day. So I would have
Yep.
people come to CVS and meet with me.
Yep.
And
So
then
that's what I did at Walmart. Yep.
someone would come over and I'd say, I have time at such and such, and I'd have them come back. Or
Yep.
I'd say, or I can call you, whichever you prefer.
Yep.
So yeah, but
That's crazy.
who wants to do Walmart anyway?
Yeah, the days
I
of Walmart are a little bit over, but wherever you're prospecting, whether you're having, registered sales event somewhere or you're out in the community, wherever you're
senior
prospecting,
center, if you're sitting at a senior
right?
center, schedule
Have
appointments.
schedule appointments, even if it's your mom coming to pick up the pen on the table and ask you if her coverage, you
Why
know,
not?
why not? Or somebody from your church, your next door neighbor, tell them to come and sit with you and visit. Like I
For an
used to have
hour.
one of the
Yeah,
cashiers was my client. Well, she became my client, but she would come and sit with me on her 15-minute break or whatever. And all of a sudden, when she came over, the boys from the yard came over.
that's what they all want to come over at the same time. This is all excellent. So I'm going to use all of this with my downline.
Hmm.
But the main thing that I'm getting from this is I need to listen to her phone calls.
You have to listen.
And and
You
so
the only way
thank
to
you for that.
correct someone's behavior and it's not bad behavior. She's new. She doesn't know, and
Yeah,
the only way to know why she didn't close. And it could be a myriad of things. There's so many nuances in our industry, but you have to listen, even correct in her tonality, because tonality over the phone is everything.
that's true. So that's what I'm going to do. So thank you so much for being my upline, helping me be a upline.
Yeah, we call
And
this train the trainer.
that's right. Thanks for training the trainer. And for the listener, we hope you got something out of this, and we'll see you next time on the Insurance Business Babes podcast. Bye.
Bye.